Welcome back to another episode of the Lender Podcast. I'm Bryce Matheson, and as always, this episode is brought to you by Lender. Lender is a loan management software tool designed to help you with every aspect of your business, from origination to servicing to payoff. Lender helps you with document generation, helps you with collecting monthly payments, dispersing monthly payments to your investors, taking in new loan applications, giving your borrowers a portal that they can log into, giving your investors a portal that they can log into. Pretty much every aspect of everything that you do inside of your lending business can be done and facilitated through Lender. You can check that out by going to joinlender.com. That's LENDR, joinlender.com. Now, onto the episode. This week's episode is going to be short, sweet, and straight to the point, but I think it still packs a powerful punch, and it's a really valuable lesson that I had to learn, and obviously it just comes with experience, but this has helped me a lot as a hard money lender. So I had a potential borrower call me this week. He was based out of Alabama, and he was newer, which is fine. We work with a lot of newer borrowers, but he had a property that was almost under contract. He was just trying to get financing squared away ahead of time. And so he told me about the deal, and it was a pretty rough property, which again is fine. We do a lot of rough properties, but the property was $70,000 purchase price, needed around $60,000 in rehab, and then he said the ARV was around $210,000. This is kind of the thing that was so transformational for me when I became a hard money lender, is realizing that you're more than just a lender. You're also someone who is giving these borrowers a second validation, a second check, making sure that everything just makes sense, because you do this a lot more frequently than they do, probably. Until you've got a lot of reps as a borrower, you just don't really know what you don't know. I told him, I said, okay, $70,000 purchase price, $60,000 rehab, $210 ARV. So once you subtract out realtor costs, holding costs, everything, assuming everything goes well and it sells quickly, and the renovation is completed on time, and there's no other delays or issues whatsoever, he should net around $60,000-ish in profit, which is a very healthy, profitable deal. But I told him, rather than purchasing it, rehabbing it, dealing with all of these potential contractors and delays and sitting on the market and holding costs and whatever have you, what if you were just to buy the property for $70,000 and list it as is for $130,000 on the market, which it is very common in the industry, known as a wholesale. This borrower, his mind was a little bit blown. He was just like, wow, I had never even thought of that. I had never considered that. And the thing is, when you're a borrower and you want to get into real estate, particularly flipping houses, essentially you have a hammer, right? And everything looks like nails. You're like, I am looking for a house to flip. But you never think about the opposite. Like, what is the end goal? What is the fastest, quickest way to get in and out of this deal and make the most amount of money? And on top of that, the thing is, it may not be the most amount of money. So for example, just with our background, we've done a little bit of everything. We have done single family rentals. We've done, duplexes, fourplexes, triplexes. We've done larger commercial deals. We have done wholesales. We've done fix and flip. We've done lending. We've done short-term rentals. We've done midterm rentals. We've done, everything. Now, the thing is that when you have, it's essentially just like this big tool belt. You have this array of tools in your tool belt that you can pick and choose from. When you're starting out, all you have is a hammer. And you see Chip and Joanna Gaines, you see HGTV, and you're like, I want to flip houses. The thing is, flipping the house may not always be the best opportunity. And the thing is, it's not necessarily, at least in my criteria, it's not what is the thing that's going to make me the most amount of money. It's what is the easiest, fastest, quickest, potentially most profitable solution. And then I weigh the pros and cons from all those. So for example, if I have a project and I think that I can flip it, I can list it on the market, and I can make $50,000. If I take the property as is, I list it, wholesale it on the market, and I sell it for $40,000, sell it and make $40,000 profit, I will do that all day long. I will 100% choose that opportunity, because there's so many more risks that you introduce when you go to flip this property. There's a lot of things that are out of your control. The market is out of your control. The costs typically are going to be higher than you budgeted. There will be holding costs. There will be taxes. You might have issues with permits. You might have issues with the city. You might have a sewer that you think is fine, but then you go to list it and they do an inspection, and now you're out an additional $20,000. There's just all these different things that you're not aware of. So money in your pocket now is infinitely better than potential money down the line in the future. Now, think about this scenario. let's say you have a project, and if you were to wholesale it or do a wholesale assignment fee, and you make $30,000. But if you were to take the time and the additional effort and energy to flip this project, and you could potentially net 70,000, I would probably take that deal. I would probably take the time and the effort to deal with the contractors and the delays and whatever else it may be to flip this property to potentially more than double my profits. And on top of that, okay, say you expect 70,000, realistically, it might be 55 to 60,000 after whatever issues or hiccups arise. I would still take that deal over the 30,000 from just wholesaling it to somebody else or wholesaling it and throw it on the market. So it's not always about the most profitable deal. It's just about what makes sense with that specific opportunity. But when you look at it with this full array of deals and all these different tools that you can use in your tool belt, different opportunities have different pros and cons. Now, coming back full circle, like I said, this particular borrower, his mind was kind of blown. He was like, whoa, I didn't even think about just listing it on the market as is. I give you all of that background information just to say that like your job as a lender is to guide these potential borrowers through this deal and just be a second sounding board for them to say, look, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? And oftentimes, obviously, that comes with experience. We've done over 100 fix and flip projects before we started lending. Now there's a reason we've become lenders, just because we want to stay out of the flipping game. But it really helps to have your borrowers have, like I said, an additional sounding board. Just all this to say that as you are having borrowers come to you, maybe take a step back and remove yourself from the deal just a little bit and look at what would happen if we did this in this scenario. And more often than not, I can almost guarantee you that the borrowers that are potentially coming to you have not looked at those different scenarios, at least until they've had 5, 10 different projects under their belts. But when they've got one or two, I could almost guarantee you they just don't have enough experience to step back and look at the whole array of different options. So I hope that's valuable for you. And ultimately what we ended up doing was we helped this borrower. We're still going to, provide them the funds to purchase this property, but he's not going to flip it. He's just going to take it as is, list it on the market. I'm excited to see what happens with this particular deal, but I almost guarantee it's going to basically make the same amount of money and be significantly easier for this borrower.